I'm Bob Scuderi. I'm the head of sales engineering at Sembird. My team partners with my product organization who are under constant pressure to deliver innovative solutions faster. In the past, our product and engineering teams used to spend too much time debating within themselves what to build and how we were going to do that. Now today, I'm going to share a strategic framework we've developed and used with our customers that helps to inform the build versus buy decision-making process. I shouldn't have to tell everybody here that today is an exciting time to be in the software industry as it's fast evolving. What started as software developers writing every single line of code has now become where the developers write the core code and then, sorry about that, guys, and then with various options being available to assemble the rest. Apparently, there are timings. It used to be that there was an app for that, and for those of you that are old enough, probably remember that saying. The equivalency to that today is there's an API for that. And there are many very reputable companies out there today that provide API services that enable you to quickly embed additional capabilities into your applications without having to build them. I'll just run through a few quick examples. For identity, we have Okta. For payments, Stripe is a fully featured payment and services API. For transactions, for translations, Google's a pretty amazing service. I think we could all admit to that. If you want to send SMS from within your application, Twilio has a very rich API. If you're adding search within your application, Algolia provides an awesome service. For location, dated Google again for location. They provide a very, very comprehensive service. And when it comes to sending emails from within your apps at scale and reliable, Mailgun provides that again. Sorry about that, guys. And finally, when it comes to sending banking transactions, Plaid provides a very secure and capable way of doing that. Luckily, in today's API economy, developers don't have to build it all from scratch. App developers can use available APIs to embed social experiences, like DM, voice, and video, in their apps in much less time with greater efficiency than they ever could before. Chat, voice, and video is no longer a disconnected and standalone product or feature. It's an engagement layer that any app developer can embed with just a few lines of code in just a couple of minutes and with no back end to manage. That is a revolution in technology. Hopefully they're back there figuring out the timings. So I'm here to tell you that you do need to build it, right? So you do have to build something, but you don't need to build it all or build everything. So what do you do to help decide what to build and what not to build? Based on our experience, there are 6 critical considerations that guide the decision on what to build in-house from scratch. First, is it what you're trying to build strategic? Is it the reason why your customers buy things from you? Second, the timeline. Do you have the time to properly build and test, or do you have to get to market really fast? Third, what's your use case? Does it require a specialized workflow or UI? Regulation. Is security, compliance, and privacy important to delivering the product, the feature, or to your company? Next comes the budget. Do you have access to a large upfront capital investment to go and build what you're trying to do? And finally, organization. Do you have the in-house talent and expertise to update and maintain the feature you're trying to deliver? So here's how we put those 6 criteria I just went over into a build decision framework so that you can have a conversation with your engineering teams on how to proceed. This framework is designed to bring product and engineering leaders together to align on that build versus buy decision. The framework provides a score to determine where an organization falls on the build versus buy scale. We recognize it's no longer a build or buy decision, so start with answering the questions in the framework to try to reach that decision. Any answer of yes to a question receives a score of 1, and no receives a 0. You add them up to find where your organization falls on the scale, which can help inform your decision whether to build or buy. If the score of 0, you should buy off the shelf. If it's 2 to 4, you can buy some core components and try to assemble the rest. And if it's a 6, you should definitely build it yourself. Next, I'll walk you through some actual case studies of how product leaders have applied this framework. I'll start with some of Sembird's own examples. But before we jump into those, let me take a moment to explain what Sendbird actually does, so you have some better context for those. Sendbird provides chat, voice, and video APIs for developers to build conversational experiences directly into their applications. Our customers leverage our APIs for peer-to-peer chat, buyer-to-seller chat, live streaming events, customer chat, and even concierge services such as personal shoppers. Sorry about that. Our first example is Glovo, a quick commerce startup founded in Barcelona as an on-demand company. So you can virtually anything from Glovo, but mostly focuses on groceries, food delivery, et cetera. Today, they've had about 50 million application downloads. The app did have chat in it. It was very, very basic, and for customer to support chat. They realized that to compete in their markets, they had to improve it because it had a lot of problems, failed often, and led to customer dissatisfaction. So in the analysis, the team debated, just as we did here at Sendbird, and whether to build everything from scratch or purchase from a third party. For Glovo, starting to look at the framework itself, for Glovo, chat wasn't strategic because their competitors already had it, so they needed to focus on getting to market quickly. The courier to customer chat did require specialized workflows because whoever they selected or whatever they built had to connect to their existing CRM and in-house support tools. Excuse me. And finally, they did have the budget and the expertise to do this, whether it was in-house or whether it was a third party. In the end, they decided to move forward with working with a third party, Sendbird, and ultimately implemented their customer to courier chat within 4 months. So going from zero to go to market, which was much faster than they had expected when compared to building everything in-house. So with this enhanced performance, their usage increased by 3%, conversations without replies. So that means you send a message, but you get no reply back from the courier to the customer. And contact rates decreased by 3%. All of this meaning improved customer to courier communication versus customer to support aging contact. So what that means is their customers were contacting support less often for problems and buying more. Hinge is another example. It's a dating application provider. So they leveraged the framework and very specifically to understand how they can add voice and video into their application. They've thought about doing that for a few years, but it never was a priority. But then when the pandemic hit, they realized what was a nice to have quickly became a must to have. And that was because their customers started to use Zoom. So they were moving out of their application to Zoom to have those face-to-face meetings. So with a lot of urgency, they decided to implement DM, voice and video services into their application using a third party. In this case, the dating feature was strategic, or adding DM to that dating feature was strategic. But Hinge had no time to waste, and so decided to use Sendbird calls, voice, and video services to embed those capabilities into their product. Using our calls API, the Hinge development team was able to launch in-app chat into their application in 5 weeks, just 5 weeks, from zero to deployed, and in 5 different markets. So amazing. 60%, from that date forward, over 60%, 67% of their users said they had fun on dates. They got much higher engagement, and the feature has been used quite a bit. Our final customer example, excuse me, is PicPay. PicPay is a Brazilian digital wallet. Provide users the ability to send and receive money, pay bills, store loyalty cards, discount coupons, and more. The company realized that peer-to-peer payments themselves were inherently social. People were actually communicating with each other. Hey, Bob, send me $10 for the drinks last night, things like that. So PicPay had the in-house engineering talent to look at the framework. They had the talent to build in-app chat from scratch very, very competent development team, and the feature was strategic to them and to their go forward. However, PicPay did not have the time or the budget to build and maintain that service, to develop that social experience, amongst all the features on their roadmap, because they wanted to focus on their core capabilities, which was doing transactions. So they decided to use APIs and embed chat in its mobile applications to power that DM experience. As a result, they achieved fantastic business outcomes in less than a year. They've reported to us that their customers are now spending, people who participate in the DM process or in the DM exchange, spend 53% more on average, so real money. More transactions for any kind of fintech app, that's more money. And their customers also engage in 2 times as many transactions. Again, real money for PicPay. And their customers are also 2.4 times more likely to keep using their platform. So they're not going to say WhatsApp to go complete a transaction. This is incredible ROI for their investment. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about that same process at Sendbird. Sendbird offers APIs for live chat and can be integrated into any chatbot. But it takes development effort for us and also for our customer for that to happen. Our customers were asking us for quite some time to provide AI-like capabilities for things like suggested replies, but we just hadn't prioritized it as well. So we started to realize, should we build this? So we started experimenting. We hired an ML engineer and started going through the process of doing this. We finally realized that we had reached a decision point. Should we build this? Or should we just build the core and assemble the rest from another API company? So ultimately, we decided to go to OpenAI and see how they can help us out building this conversational chatbot. We ultimately decided to do that, and so far it's shown great results. Leveraging OpenAI's API, Sendbird launched a generative AI feature in just 3 months. So that's 3 months from just writing the PRD, doing the engineering, delivering the product, and doing the marketing and PR release. So pretty amazing. Using this approach, we also save time for our customers, who can now we believe can implement their chatbots 2 to 3 times faster than they could before. So it's a win-win in terms of our team and our customers' team. Now, it's only been 3 weeks from launch of the feature, and we're already working with over a dozen strategic customers who want to adopt it right away. So if you're interested in how we built that, we have lots of blogs. You can go read them to see how we built that in record time. For these case studies, you can see that product leaders who intelligently, that's a key word there, intelligently use API services are able to deliver business value much less time and with much greater efficiency than ever before. What you get is faster time to market by increasing developer velocity by not having to build it all. So it's not a build versus buy, it's a build or buy conversation. This frees up your developers to focus on innovating your core product, enabling you to continue differentiating yourself in the market. And that makes everybody happy, right? So your developers are happy because they're working on key core strategic features. Your customers are happy because they go to market on time. And your executives are happy because they get a product that's delivered on time, which satisfies their customers' requirements or your customers' requirements. So if any of this was interesting to you, please come by the booth, visit us online, where we continue this conversation. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the remainder of the conference. Thank you.